You're locked into Inception Radio Network, Superior, Wisconsin.
From aliens to ghosts, demons to angels, and from shadow people to the outlandish, Heidi, Hollis is the Outlander.
Welcome everybody to my awesome Friday evening. You're listening to me, Heidi Hollis, the Outlander. So welcome to this lovely show. It has been a crazy day, people, and it's cold in Chicago. I am just like, why am I here again? Oh, that's right. It's a fun city, and there's lots to do, and great food, and great people. But the cold, somebody could ship it out to sea for all I could care. But I want to tell you guys what this show is about, because a lot of you guys have been getting a lot of really neat and cool people reaching out to me as of late. I've been doing, the month of October is super duper busy for people like myself. So I've been doing a lot of other radio shows, and even the Unexplained Files, a television show on the Science Channel, Discovery Channel, and all that stuff. So a lot more people are like saying, hey, there's a chick over there. Let me go see what she's doing. So there's a lot more people, I think, that are tuning in this evening who don't know who the heck I am. So I'm going to tell you. But this show is about bringing outlandish topics to the forefront. I don't care if there's an angel fluttering around in your bathroom, ghosts, demons, shadow people, to Bigfoot, to the outlandish. I always say, if it's weird, we're here, and so are you. So welcome everybody. It's okay. You're among friends. And who the heck am I? I'm going to tell you. If you don't know who I am, when it comes to the outlandish, I'm someone who has been there, seen that, experienced it, freaked out, found some answers, wrote about it, got over it, and now I'm trying to help everybody else get over this crazy paranormal stuff too. It can be done. If you want to learn more about me, please visit my main website, which is pen and paper, everybody, HeidiHollis.com, Heidi. Oh, wait. HOLLIS.com. Okay, there you go. And you will discover things there that just will mystify you. That's all I'm going to say. And I want to welcome you guys also to go to paranormalpledge.com. That is where you're making a pledge, people. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in a second. I also want to welcome you to go to my newest website, because I'm going to be releasing a new book in December. I just decided it needs to be out there. I wanted to put it out there sooner, but it's going to be put out there ASAP. And it's called, this is the .com, and the book, theotherfword.com. So the other F word, what is that? Well, when you go there, you'll find out. So how about them apples? So go check it out, theotherfword.com, and the book coming out in December. When in December? As soon as possible. Just because. Now, I want to tell you guys how to hear the show, because there is an awesome IRN app out there. It's on Amazon, and it's at your app store. It's everywhere. So you can listen to us any way that you want. And you could also just dial a simple number to hear this show. That's how my parents listen. 401-283-6700. Isn't that cool? You just call and just listen live all the time, anytime. And tonight, everybody, is one of my most favorite shows to do, because this is where we get comfortable. This is where we get cozy, and it's all about you. It is the Outlandish Corner forever tonight. That's it. What's the Outlandish Corner? Well, it's kind of part of the Paranormal Pledge, too. How about that? Paranormalpledge.com. This is where I invite you all to call or write or Skype or whatever it is that you do into the program, and I will read off your stories, or we could talk about what it is that you've experienced out there that has been just a little bit different, and that maybe, just maybe, I give you a little bit of advice on it. I don't know. I'm not a guru and I'm not a psychic, but we all have a little bit more experience than others in these different things sometimes, and I just do my best. So I invite you to call during the whole 90 minutes. Okay, well, whole 90 minutes. 1-888-919-2355. Or if you're on Skype, go and find Inception Radio Network and send your questions there. And also, I want you to know if you ever want me to read off your emails and answer your questions and stuff, usually for the first 30 minutes of all of my programs, you can hear me talk about these things. And the phone lines are open to you guys to just talk to me. Isn't that weird? Talk to me? Is that bizarre? Just don't freak out. Don't cuss either, because I think we have a hang-up button around here somewhere. Only I could swear. Gosh darn it. Is that a swear word? I don't even know. Somebody Sam could say, gosh darn it, right? And I think that was somebody Sam. I don't know. Warner Brothers. But anyways, yes, you guys are welcome to reach out. And it's just fun. I just have a good old time doing this stuff. You guys are awesome. And I really have to say thank you for trusting me. I don't know why you do. No, I'm just kidding. And I will only use your first names if that's what you desire, or no names. So feel free to write me at douthoutlander@gmail.com. And you can hear your answers, your responses, and all that good stuff if you go to the archives on InceptionRadioNetwork.com or go to HeidiHollis.com and click on the radio page. It links right up. Okie dokie, smoky, croaky, dokey. Where was I? Okay, so yeah. I'm going to just go into the outlandish corner because that's just the way we roll, people. And again, feel free to call 1-888-919-2355. And I am going to pull up the first email as we hang out here. Oh my goodness, I have some big juicy ones. I can't tell where these begin and end. I've been having some really, really cool guests as of late. So I've been kind of cutting out that lynch corner, which is not typical of me, but I just wanted to hear the whole shebang for as much as I could. So I just, so these are backed up on me, but we will clear it out like Roto-Rooter, right? I don't know. Okay. This is a big juicy one. So I'm going to be reading for a while. Everybody pull up the popcorn, put your feet up on the ottoman, and, snuggle up with your Snuggie on the couch and be terrified. Keep a light on. Dear Heidi, that's me. I saw the Hatman in 2003. Dun, 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 dun. That's horrible. I went to visit my old roommate in her apartment. I had been there before, but hadn't visited there in a while because it wasn't close to my place. Anyway, we were sitting across from each other at her dining room table in this small one-bedroom apartment, just chatting. My former roommate knows I can see things, and I tend to make her nervous because she sees things when I am around. Ain't that something? It happens to me too and my friends. And they blame me. I go figure. I don't get it. Anyway, as she was talking to me, I see a shadow in her bedroom. And I didn't interrupt her, but I thought, I thought she was home alone. I was thinking it was her boyfriend, a big African-American guy. Oh, we got calls coming in. I will get to that in a minute here. Well, as she was talking, she saw me looking, but she didn't say anything or ask, but she knew I saw something. So I looked away from her and then back to the shadow man that was at that point walking toward me and getting bigger and bigger. He was just solid black, but I couldn't tell if he was like a block or lumpy like a person. Oh, the lumpy people of the world, raise your hand. That's funny. Or lumpy like a person. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of lumpies, right? Come on, everyone's funny. Okay, wipe the tears from my eyes so I can read this. He seemed solid, but he was tall and wide, like 6 feet tall, and almost filled the doorway. So I looked back at her again as she spoke, trying to act like I didn't have anything distracting me. Well, as it was getting closer, I was thinking, any other time I see things, normally they are gone when I look back. And this guy just kept a coming. So as he gets to where he's either going right to me or he has to turn right or left, he turned left and went to the front door of her apartment. Then when he got to the door, it was like he became flat, like a piece of paper, and went under the door like paper would. Hold on, I saw this in a book when I was growing up. It was called Flat Stanley. That's comes to mind for me anyways, people. How about you? Um, he seemed very geometric, very squared off versus rounded features in his silhouette. Hope this made some sense, as it is hard to write up, in my opinion. So my former roommate asked me what I saw, and I asked her why. I was pretending to play dumb, and she said, I did a quadruple take on something and ended at the door. I told her that I didn't want to scare her, but that whatever it was gone now. It slithered under the door. I'm just kidding. I didn't tell her that I knew whatever it was evil. And I had never seen that before, nor since. But when I went back to her place, it wasn't there. So I don't know what that was about, but I do know that for whatever reason, I tend to stir them up, and they tend to leave when I enter a place. That's kind of cool. You're just like this Orkin man, huh? Sending the roaches on their way. Years later, just before I left Arizona to move to Texas, I visited my old roommate again. She is a heavyset person. I don't think she's very healthy due to that fact. Due to that? Okay. But as we were chatting, the Grim Reaper was with her. Oh, that was in 2006. I've lost contact with her. Boy, your friend has some issues. I mean, Flat Stanley, and then this Grim Reaper. Ugh. Okay, I've lost contact with her. She's been consumed by health and mental problems the last few years, so she's not staying in touch with anyone. I just wanted to run this by you. I'm so glad you wrote the book and went on Out Caravan to Midnight. That was another radio show I did. The thought of that Hatman experience has bothered me on and off for all these years. I don't know what he was doing in her place, nor that I saw him, and he knew it, and he left. But if you have an insight, it would be great to hear. I know you will have thousands of emails after the show, but that is one of my many experiences I wanted to share now that I know it's not a rare thing. I recently saw a shaman to get my chakras cleared, and she had to clear one entity that was causing chaos. I feel like now I have many things cleared, but still I don't feel great. I'm thinking that seeing these things affects a person. What do you do to keep them out? Thank you for your work. Now that I know about you, I will follow your work for the rest of my days. Whoa. Wow, cool. That's awesome. Thanks so much, Sherry. And then it goes, there was a backup email. Hi, Heidi. I sent my last email with the Hatman story, but I also wanted to ask what it means when I go into spaces, all the creatures get stirred up, and most of all, they leave the space. I'm not religious. I'm a decent person. But what about me scares them? I'm not scared of them, but when I come in, they get moving. Also, is a shaman the best way to make sure everything stays clear for me personally? Or is there another way to do this that would be better? I try to keep everything clear for my 4-year-old son. I don't want him bothered by them. Just curious if you had an opinion. Can't wait to hear your show Friday. Thanks, Sherry. Former Wisconsinite as well, which is where I'm from. Hey, Sherry, what's up, girlfriend? Well, holy cannolis, that's a whole lot. So Flat Stanley the Hatman came into your space, your friend's space, and slithered under the door like a piece of paper. You know, I've heard of him kind of folding that way and kind of not quite seeming, fully three-dimensional, but this flat thing, and just slip goes in between things like that. I don't know, it's bizarre. He could kind of present himself as he wants just because he's a jerk of sorts. You can't always figure him out. So, yeah, he did a jerk slide under the door. What a bum. That's okay. Now, you were also asking about this Grim Reaper dude. That is disturbing. You said that your friend was being essentially consumed by health and mental problems the last few years, so she's not staying in touch anymore. I would say that a dark force may have indeed impressed upon her. I mean, that's just what they do. I mean, here you saw that nasty Grim Reaper looking creep hanging by her, and all of a sudden her health goes down, her mental health goes down. I don't think it's a coincidence, because this happens quite a bit with these dark entities, that they just kind of hang and they drag it out. You ever have a friend that's a vampire of sorts that just sucks you dry of anything good of you. And it's like, do you have some more good to give? Here, I'll take that too. You got some more sugar? Huh. Here's my bowl, fill it. And then they come back 5 minutes later as soon as they see that you got some more sugar. So it's just, maybe they're caramelizing it. I don't know. But it's a nice topping for something. But it's like they can use your good vibes against you. And then you isolate yourself, which is the worst thing to do. And voila, you have somebody in a pit of trouble. And health and spirit and all that stuff goes down the drain with it. Now, I wanted to address something that's the most important part in here because this just kills me. This just kills me. Sherry, you put, I'm not a religious person, but I'm a decent person. But what about you scares them? And then you're asking if a shaman is the best way to go to stay clear for these things. And you're also wondering how to keep these things out. Okay, all right, okay. So you're not religious, but you went to a shaman. So, I mean, I don't know, that religion, that belief system of a shaman, I mean, I kind of think of, native things. And you're not writing as if you're a native, but you dove right into their religious belief. Mm-hmm. It's a belief system, so it's kind of a religious thing. You know what I mean? There's traditions, there's practices. You dove right on in and say, hey, throw your religion all over me. I'm going to bathe in this. Oh, that feels good. It's just, you're not religious, but you knew to look for something. But for some reason, there's a lot of people when it comes to not wanting to dive into religion because maybe it was crammed down your throat when you were a kid and you just resented it. Hey, I was down those roads. I sat on those hard church pews and my legs went numb and I didn't appreciate it. And I knew it was a mini vacation for my parents on Sundays because they didn't go. They made sure we went. So it's like, I don't know. It's like people get in that mindset like, I don't want to go back to that. Oh, there's somebody over there chanting. Let's see what that is. Oh, perhaps that'll work for me. You have been witnessing demonic stuff, like outright evil, and you know it's evil. You feel it, you see it, you smell it. It's hanging around your friend. She's going down the hole into the armpits of hell. Oh, I swore. You saw this, but you don't have any feelings for faith? Huh? You saw something that's the likes of the devil or his little spawn or minions, but you just don't want to go there to defend yourself, but you'll let somebody else throw their religion at you. So, that's a little different. I say it's not about being religious, it's about being faithful. So if something comes at you that can throw darkness in your face, why don't you throw some light back at them? And it's called faith. Get some faith in there. Toss it back at them. Because otherwise, it's the equivalent of whipping a shoe at them because you ain't got nothing to throw at them. So how do you keep these things away? Faith, Sherry, faith. You don't have to be religious. Just be spiritually inclined towards the one God that I know and love. And Jesus is awesome, too. So, hey, that's where I stand with that. So if you want to keep those things at bay and not let them come around any further, get with it. And that is why I am putting that book out. And I have the website, theotherfword.com. It's on faith because people are just doing things oddly and I don't understand. It's okay to go back to the faith of your childhood. It's okay. As long as it's for good. If your parents are devil worshippers, don't go back there, please. All right, so I hope that helped you, Sherry. I have a caller that's been waiting here patiently. Who's the caller? Who is this? I have to look at the name here. I wasn't even paying attention. Who's our caller here? Hello? We got Maggie?
Is it me? Oh, yeah, Maggie.
Hi there. How are you doing there, Maggie?
I'm great. I love your book. It just affirms a lot of stuff that's happened to me. So.
Oh, cool. Which book was that?
I tried to send you an email yesterday. Somehow it didn't go through. So I'll just tell you what I was going to say in the email.
Indeed. Which book are you speaking of that you liked?
Well, The one about, it's got the stuff about the shadow people and the channeling information in it.
Got it. Okay, the Secret War. Got it. Okay. No, do tell. What?
Yeah,
What?
the Secret War, yes.
Awesome. So, what's your situation? What happened?
Oh, well, so I've worked in places with heavy doors most of my life. So I was working on a forensic unit in a mental hospital, and I used to see shadow people running up and down the hallway sometimes. They're out of the, I'm not psychic or anything, so they're out of the corner of my eyes. And other people had, sometimes I would work with Native American people too, and they'd seen them in the rooms and stuff. So
Wow.
I asked somebody about it because there was just a feeling, it wasn't like it was a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Because I seen that, it's not the same. So I was really good to hear your information because it was really confirmed.
Oh, I'm so glad.
But what used to happen?
Mm-hmm.
What used to happen is that we did have a Satanist on the unit. They found it, for some reason they decided to put all the antisocial personality disorders on one unit. And so I used to literally feel like I was walking into the bowels of hell.
Ooh. Yeah, I bet.
But this stuff happened before this guy came there, but it kind of got worse. And I had problems with the other staff I worked with. Some of the staff I didn't, but I could see it come over them like a wave. And so these beings were, and I think that they're maybe interdimensional, but they have never incarnated here. And it would just influence other people. And it was like this, the only way I can describe it is it's like this snarling kind of thing. And it would, it would influence other people's behavior, but they didn't see it. They didn't recognize that something was influencing them.
Oh, how interesting. But you'd see this take place.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the beings over them, but I'm sometimes sensitive to energy, and so I'm not real visual. So, but I mean, I could sense it.
My goodness.
And so it's like a feeding frenzy when they're present. So they feed on this negative energy. And the times that I would see them running down the hallways would be, maybe about 4 o'clock in the morning or so. And I think that's why they call 3 o'clock like the witching hours, because they don't want to be exposed to the light.
Oh, and no, they don't. You've noticed that pattern too,
right.
Huh?
Yeah. So I think that's why I saw them running down the hallway, is because they were, they kind of done their feeding frenzy for the night. So.
My.
And I also saw what I thought was a dog once at home, and at about that time of the morning, but that was separate from my work situation.
Gotcha. My goodness. So, no one else saw this pattern going on at work?
Well, there were problems at work, but a lot of people had seen the shadow people in the rooms because we had to make rounds, and they had seen them in the rooms before. But I don't think that anybody differentiated between. Well, there were ghosts there too, so I don't think anybody differentiated between the shadow people and the ghosts.
Oh my gosh, that is just wild. So it's interesting to me that, I mean, have you experienced these things like other parts of your life growing up, or is this a pattern in the family?
No.
Oh wow.
No, this is not at home. It's through work.
Only through work. Isn't that something?
I've worked in psychiatry for a lot of years, but I was just thinking about you yesterday, and I sort of as a hobby, because I work in places with heavy doors, I sort of collect ways that you can protect yourself, and strange hobby, I know. But and I was thinking about your sense of humor, and I was thinking that's really a means of protection.
Oh, yeah. Well,
the way that you use humor, I think I think it's protective.
yeah.
Because it really it not only shifts you, but I mean the people that listen to you, or when you talk about this stuff, there's a shift that happens.
Well, you know what? I know there's a way to shut brains down and there's a way to open brains up. And it's like, I could shudder and sit in the corner and just be fearful and dead serious. And, I think that has been done over and over again to a point where it's like people have heard it. They know the routine. It's not as effective now. I mean, I think that people need to realize that the paranormal is pretty normal. And, it's okay to laugh at it. It's okay to, treat this as any other topic that you would, as humanly flawed as possible, which is how I like to go about things. And it's like, and that's how I write my books too. And it's like, I just want people to be able to open their minds without fear. Why not?
Right.
That's how I feel.
And what I used to find when I was at work is people would I was fairly open about, I've been was kind of involved in the UFO community and stuff. And so I would be very open about my stuff, and some people would make fun of me. But what would happen later is somebody, and I know that you find this because you like work in a hospital. Somebody will take you aside and go, this thing happened to me one time, but don't tell anybody. And I'm sure that happens to you.
Oh, gosh, a lot. I've had it happen a lot. And God forbid they find out what it is that I do, and they're just like, oh, I could tell her. But sometimes it's not a healthy thing because I do have patients that are schizophrenic, and they feed into it. And I'm like, so I have to back away and like, oh, that's a little further than I go. Sorry, So it keeps life entertaining, that's for sure.
Well, when you work in those areas, though, if nothing else, Heidi, we both know how to stay out of the hospital. So I always figured maybe at some point that might be useful.
I think it is. Oh, Maggie, I really want to thank you so much for giving us a call from North Carolina. Even that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, and thanks for listening. And feel free always, everybody, feel free to call. I'm sitting here hanging out, having a good old time. So, all right, Megan, we're gonna go to our first break here, and oh boy, do I have a ton more stories to go to. So I really want to thank you for calling.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, Maggie.
Bye-bye.
So you take care. All right, you guys.
You're listening to IRN, the Inception Radio Network, Chicago, Illinois.
You didn't forget what's coming up tonight, did you? Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Never miss that interview you were looking forward to or the show on your favorite topic. Follow IRN on Twitter, I_R_N, and get reminders about the evening's live shows as well as fun and important updates throughout the week. That's I_R_N, and never miss a great show again.
Hi, this is Heidi Hollis, and I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about myself and my writings because I am a published author. I write on everything from angels to aliens, ghosts, demons, shadow people, I don't know, you name it, I do it. And I would like to invite you to go check out my main website, which is HeidiHollis.com, which shows, oh my goodness, all my books, and I think you guys will dig it. Jesus is No Joke, which is about holy encounters with Jesus, which is actually quite different than what you might expect. And then my book, The Secret War, which is based on shadow people. And I am also a cartoonist, diary blog of the Fickle Fighters. These are kids' cartoons that I do, and they are exploring absolutely everything that I write about in my regular books. So I invite you, please go check out my website, HeidiHollis.com. Check out my books. I think you'll dig it. It's something different, it's something new, and I write just as I speak. So don't say I didn't warn you.
Hi, Bob Tarmac for MJ'sHealthyWay.com. Are you into vitamins, nutrition, meal replacements, health shakes, keeping your body in good shape, your internal engine going? Boy, do I have a perfect place for you. MJ'sHealthyWay.com. They offer the best service and products, and they'll tell you anything you need to know about any product they have to offer. I get all my vitamins, meal replacements, shakes from MJ'sHealthyWay.com. That's spelled MJSHealthyway.com. There's so much more at the website. Go check it out. MJ'sHealthyway.com.
Hello, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Remember, you can take your Inception Radio shows on the go. Just download the Inception Radio Network app for your iPhone, iPad, or Android smartphones and access live shows, past shows, guest lineups, and much more. Just visit the iTunes Store or the Google Play Marketplace and download it today for free.
Are you a fan of Inception Radio Network? Do you reckon it's the best alternative talk radio station on the planet? Well, if you do, head to facebook.com/Inception Radio Network and like the page. Tell your friends, spread the word, and keep listening to the best.
Hello, folks. Heidi Hollis is rocking the airwaves every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on IRN. But if you want to learn more about Heidi, check out her amazing website at www.HeidiHollis.com. For IRN, this is MJ.
From aliens to ghosts, demons to angels, and from shadow people to the outlandish, Heidi Hollis is the Outlander.
Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to me, Heidi Hollis, the Outlander, remembering always if it's weird, we're here. And so are you, so stop staring at me, okay? I'm not so strange. We're giving you advice and insight on outlandish topics. Phone lines are open tonight, the whole night. Just me and you, ready to chat it up about anything and everything out of the ordinary. If you want some advice, or if you just want to spit out what your insight is, hey, I'm open. So 1-888-919-2355. Feel free to call in. Oh, this is fun. So anyways, I have another awesome person calling in. I have Michael from Georgia calling in. Hey there, Michael. How are you?
Hey, Heidi. Good evening, dear.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Great. My dad's from Georgia.
Well, I'm originally from Ohio, so.
Oh, so you don't qualify for a real Georgian, huh?
No, I'll be a northerner for life, probably.
I hear you. It's like I'm from Wisconsin and I'm here in Chicago. You know that Packer Bear thing? I will forever be like a Packer.
Oh,
it's like, it's just not going to happen. I won't convert.
I don't blame you.
So tell me, what's going on? Have you got some insight, or you experienced something a little bit odd?
Well, yeah, I do have a story. It's not a really long one, but it's paranormal. It involves, I guess you would have to say, ghosts or spirits.
Cool.
Well, let's see. This was probably, I'm 38 now, so I would say it was at least 15 years ago when I still lived in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Saturday. It was a weekend. I was helping a friend move a family member out of their house. They had his friend's mother had died, and they were selling the property. And, they were clearing it out because, obvious reasons he didn't want to, live there, take the property over. It was a really hard loss for him.
I bet.
And, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So it was interesting because they had started moving on a Friday, and I was able to help out Saturday and Sunday. They were done by Sunday, but now they had never said anything about any activity in the house as far as that goes. And we started off at the bottom of the house moving things out. And, we were working up our way. I think they had like 3 rooms in the upstairs and then an attic. It was a typical house. They had a basement, living room, dining room, they had a kitchen. And there was 3 bedrooms off the hallway with the bathroom and then the attic. So we were, moving that downstairs part of the house out, and we were kind of hearing, like odd little noises, maybe like shuffling around, nothing you would really kind of think out of the ordinary. So, we just went about our business, and, we didn't think too much of it. So we're working our way upstairs, and we kind of hear what sounded like, like a door slam.
Right.
But, we didn't know what door from what room, and we thought it was a little odd. And he said, "Oh, that's probably nothing." Well, this friend that I was helping, his family member, his name was Bob, and it will come in key to what happens next in the story. So, Bob says, "Oh, it was probably nothing. Maybe it's, the windows open from us moving, because it was during the summer, so it was a little warm." And he's like, "It's probably just what it was." We're like, "Yeah, you're probably right, Bob. No problem. Don't worry about it." So we started with the first room that was closest off to the hallway. It cleared that out. We didn't really kind of hear anything else. So we're working our way into the second bedroom, and we hear something like, we thought it was a voice, but then, it's the typical, you think you're hearing things.
Right.
You think, just that typical stuff like that. It was just our imagination. So now we go downstairs, we're tearing, beds down and dressers. And so Bob was up there by himself clearing out one of the rooms. So then he says that he heard a voice for sure. And, we didn't believe him. We're like, "Oh, come on, you're pulling our leg. What are you trying to say? It's haunted here or something. And, your mother just died only recently. And it's like, what are you trying to pull our leg?" And he's like, "No, I heard a voice." So we finished the room that he was in, and there was one room left, from the upstairs there. And we were taking out some, more, dressers, and the bed that had to go out. So then as we're leaving the room, myself and my friend both heard it. We heard a voice say, "Bob." And, we just kind of like, stopped in our tracks. We actually put down what we were carrying and looked at each other, and it's one of those things where, you rub your eyes and you shake your head. You're like, did we just hear that? And it was just, one of those moments where you realize it, like, no, it can't be. So we stand there and we're trying to, get ourselves together, and, he's like, "No." He's like, "I was with you guys. It wasn't like I was by myself when I heard it, and I was the only one around. Both of you guys heard it, and you were with me." And
wow. Oh, that is...
say, we moved the rest of the house out faster than any other party, and we were done.
And who was it? Who was it that had died recently again? Who was it?
It was my buddy. It was one of his family members. Now, the family member's mother had passed away. Like I said, this was a weekend, like a Saturday. I think she had passed away.
Did the voice sound like a woman?
Yeah. Oh no, it was a woman's voice. There was no doubt about it, and it sounded like an elderly woman too. Like that was the thing. She was an older lady, and the voice was female, 100%, and it was also elderly sounding on top of it.
Wow. What did Bob have to say about this?
Well, I mean, it affected him too, but I guess he wasn't too surprised because they had a really close relationship. You know, from what I remember, I didn't know him very well, but I guess they did have a close relationship, and the house had been in the family, you know, for a long time. You know,
Wow.
as far as that goes. But
Doesn't something like that just totally shatter your sense of reality sometimes? Like, what the heck did I just hear? I mean, did you just kind of like, I mean, did it make you question things for yourself?
Well, Heidi, to be honest, I mean, I've always kind of been a geek like that. I've always been into paranormal, you know, Bigfoot, you know, you name it.
Right.
You know, I always believed in, you know, spirits. Even up until then, I've only had known people that have experienced, you know, something. But I've always been into that, you know. I would be up hours before school reading, you know, books on Bigfoot and this and that. So I've always been in that type of thing. But it's not like I didn't believe it, but I had just never experienced it myself. And when I did, then it was pretty much, like I said, this was, you know, 15 years ago, it was pretty much evident. Now, I haven't experienced nothing before then or after.
Whoa, really?
But, yeah, but, you know, it was definitely like, you know, one of those moments where it was confirmation of what you pretty much already knew.
Wait, you know what I like about your story here, too? It's like here, you know, you were into the topic beforehand, and you had the one experience, and there's so many people who I think, even if they're into the topic, they kind of call into question their own senses. Did that really happen? I don't know. It's been so long. And they just kind of lose, you know, the belief that it really, really took place. And not everybody who's into the topic, I mean, I've seen this firsthand, and they experience something for the first time, they don't always take it very well. When it smacks them right dab in the middle of the eyes, you know, for themselves, even though they had an open mind, it could really shake a person's foundation. So, I mean, I applaud you for your ability to discern and hold it together and have that one experience, having, you know, concreted this in your head and heart and your interest to, you know, this stuff's real. I experienced something. That's kind of cool.
Well, that, you know, it was the thing too. It's like I was not definitely looking for it or asking for it. You know, I wasn't thinking about it and expecting it. I wasn't, you know, doing a seance or, you know, playing with a Ouija board beforehand. I mean, it was just totally 100% out of the blue. But, you know, like when it did happen, I mean, even now, I still, you know, if you get kind of tall, it's like I still kind of have, you know, like I'm sitting here, you know, I have chills about, you know, thinking about it, and, you know, it's like I'm shaking. But I mean, like I knew 100% it was real. It wasn't no setup. It wasn't a prank.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 100% real. And you know,
I love those raw stories like that. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, even though it was 15 years ago, it's like I'm sitting there, I'm like shaking talking about it and then having chills.
You know what? I get it, because there's some stories that I even share, you know, year after year, time after time, and I just get like either the nasty chills or the cool chills, you know, like, oh, that was a neat one, or ooh, that one was bitter. So I totally relate. So I mean, I'm with you on that. But I mean, again, I applaud you for doing what it is that you do and keeping your interest and keeping your cool about it, though. It only took the one time. I've known people that have seen UFOs practically slap them upside the forehead, and they go, I don't know. I just can't figure it out. I'm like, what? It almost, you know, signed its name on your forehead, and you're just, you know, it's so weird. So, I mean, I've seen it so much, so I'm impressed that this is all it took. And, you know, thank you so much for, you know, tuning into the show and calling in. While so many people do not call in, they'd rather write their emails, which is fine. So I applaud you once again for having the guts to come on air. There's a lot of chickens out there, Michael. Well, that's all I can say.
Oh, no, it was my pleasure. Trust me, I appreciate you having me on. It was a good time.
Very cool. Well, hey, feel free to call in another time. Even if you hear of a story and you want to talk about it, feel free. I'm open. All right, Michael, from Georgia. I should say from Ohio and Georgia. All right, take care. Take care. All right. That was pretty cool, everybody. I mean, you know, so many of you are sitting there going, gosh, I'm scared of Heidi. I don't want to call. Michael just called. That was easy, wasn't it? See? Don't be chicken, people. Don't be chicken. What's the phone number again? It is 1-888-919-2355. And I'm in the chat room. I'm always in there. So if you guys want to send me a question or something like that, put it in bold so I could catch it, because it's hard to do this dual tasking thing. And I go back and forth and then I miss stuff, and big letters help. So I'm going to go to the next email until the next caller comes along. Let's see here. Okay. Is that a juicy one? No. Okay. I'm going to go to this one. What is that one? Okay. No, this one. Dear Heidi, that's me. I recently heard you. Oh my goodness, is this one? Yeah, it's another one. I recently heard you on another radio show, and I think you are wonderful. Oh, well, thank you. Maybe you could shed some light on a problem I have and have had since I was a teenager. My name is Dennis. I'm now 32, and I'm from King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Since I was a teen, I have had over 100 counts of sleep paralysis. I've read about this online, and I really don't know who or what to believe. Over the past few years, the sleep paralysis has ramped up to where I was having them several times a week, and in some weeks, several times a night. Gosh, that's a lot. During my sleep paralysis, I have encountered many paranormal experiences that were and are frightening to the point I have to take medication and drink to get myself into a very deep sleep. Oh, Dennis, you just broke my heart. I've had insomnia throughout my whole life, and I think that could be part of the problem. Oh, I think so too, Dennis. I've seen what you call shadow people. I've also had different beings around me that I can't really explain. During my episodes of sleep paralysis, I've heard and seen things that I can't see when I am fully awake. I've had the feeling of being held down, and a lot of times I can't talk, but I can see or hear what is around me, like the TV still being on. So I know I am somewhat awake when this is happening. I believe in Jesus and I pray to him when this occurs, which usually pulls me out of these situations, but not always. Well, that's interesting. I don't want to drag this email on too long. So that was just a summary of what is going on. I really don't want to take the medication for sleep or have to drink, but I feel when I don't do these things, my sleep paralysis ramps up, and I feel it has gotten to the point where I am afraid to fall asleep because I know that I could fall into sleep paralysis. I've talked about this with my parents and other people, but they keep telling me it's just a dream. Yeah, don't you hate that? Please let me know if you have any information about this, and maybe I can call or email you with more in-depth descriptions of what is going on. Thank you for all that you do, and I hope to hear from you. God bless, Dennis. Dennis, this is really, really sad. I'm so sorry to hear this is going on with you. Holy smokes. Dennis, this can be cut. It could be cut. It could be stopped in its tracks. I'm not kidding you. It seems like it's a horrific thing. And it is. It's a horrific thing. But you know what? I love you got the faith that you do. And you're like, I pray to Jesus. It's all good. It is good. That's awesome. But, I think, when I get emails like yours where it's like, I say, Jesus, help me, but it doesn't always work. I think there's some questioning that goes on sometimes with people. And when they're met with devilish things so often that they doubt sometimes. They doubt like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing the biggest, stinkiest, rotten demon thing hanging in my place every time I go to sleep, and I'm terrified. And you're scared. You're scared to fall asleep. And with fear comes those things. Yeah, because they like that stuff. It's just like, good cold cereal in the morning. That's just slurp it up and throw another bowl because they just want to keep going and dipping their spoon into your fear and chomping on it. Okay, does that paint a picture? I think it should. But it's terrible. It's terrible. So when you have any fear, which is hard not to have fear, let me tell you, I have been down the road of fear. I don't know if people can have ever been as terrified as I have. It's well, okay, everybody's got their own fear, but I mean, imagine this. I lived in a place, and like I was dealing with shadow people, shadow spiders, and aliens and whatever. It was crazy, and I lived alone. And I lived in this, what do you call, like a fourplex type of apartment. And if you take maybe 3 steps, you got to the 2 steps that led down to another platform to get out of my apartment building, right? So all of 4 steps, maybe 5 to get out. But in that hallway, the darn landlord would never keep that darn light working in that little hallway. I could barely handle that darkness. 5 steps in it. 5. I was horrified and terrified because I knew something lived in the dark, and it was just waiting for me to trip and slam myself at the bottom of those little stairs and lay there whimpering in a big heap or something. I had terror. I was scared. And I had a friend, tell me something that really changed a lot for me, because I had the hardest time in just getting over that fear, because I was catching things, seeing things, and things were calling my name. Oh, that sucks when it calls your name. Let me tell you, you want to talk about chills? Those are chills. Heidi, what the hell? No, don't call my name. Don't call my name. It's horrible. I have a real raspy name. Heidi, come on. So, yeah, I was terrified. But this friend told me, Heidi, you've got to get rid of that fear. And this is some kind of old wise saying from some ancient somebody. I don't know what that, maybe Buddha. I don't know who said it. But it said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I had to learn to get rid of that fear of the dark. How did I do that? Well, I stopped flying through that little hallway. That was one of my things. I'm like, Heidi, just breathe, take your time. Don't come flying through here, slamming into your door, trying to get the key out, to get it in there. I learned to take a breath and walk through it and get my key in there. And then it was really really therapeutic for myself. And I learned to just deal with it and let it go. Let it go. I can't sing. I was frozen. But I let it go, everybody. But it's just, I kill myself. Anyways, yeah, so let it go. Don't let that fear get to you, Dennis. It's difficult, I know. But I'll tell you, soon after I let go of that crazy fear that I had, and it wasn't like it was unjustified. It was, because I was having crazy things going on. A lot of it's in that book, The Secret War. So I was seeing some big baddies, nasty things, just nasty, mean, icky. Yeah. So and that's also the apartment that I had shooed 9 gray aliens out of. So I was just, come on, I lived alone. This is not cool. But soon after that, I did have a teacher appear. Who was it? Well, it was somebody I was a huge skeptic of. Huge skeptic. Oh, and his name started with Jesus. Jesus Christ. Okay? I was a skeptic of him having, the power to show up. Everybody's like, oh, look, he's in my toast. I'm going to put butter on it now. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I'm like, come on, people. Jesus is not showing up. He did his thing a couple thousand years ago. He's done now. You got the message? It's done. I was stunned and still am, and enamored and changed forever that he showed up and taught me everything. It's the only way that I'm able to sit here and talk with some kind of sense of normalcy. Am I normal? I don't know. I really don't know. But it's the only way. I had no guts for this stuff. But I had to take that step. I had to. So as difficult as it may be for you, Dennis, and many, many, many others out there, is to let that little fear nymph or whatever go. Just let it go. Sing the song, rent the movie, feel empowered, learn all the words. Just go with it. I understand the sleep paralysis stuff is horrible. I'm going to tell you a quick story. And I had a friend who had like a best friend who, it was strange. She was kind of standoffish with me, when I first met her. And I was just like, okay. And she was a heavy drinker. I am so not into drinking, drugs, and when I'm around people, that's where they find relief or their joy. It's just awkward because I'm naturally flying high anyways, so I don't need that stuff, and I don't get drunk jokes. Sometimes I do, but it's just so, they laugh, and it's just, I don't get it. Okay, so anyways, she was one of those types, and I was just like, your friend is a sloppy drunk. What the heck is going on here? And it took some time, but she finally had a heart-to-heart with me, outside of, my friend that was her best friend. And she's like, I'll tell you why I drink so much. She said, every time I close my eyes, every time I lay down to sleep, or if I'm just sitting here and close my eyes, she said, I see like gnashing, menacing teeth, monsters, demonic faces, flesh being ripped by them eating people. She said, I feel like I am looking into a window into hell. And it terrified her. She was terrified, petrified. Sleep paralysis was 100% of the time, and she never had relief. Her only relief was to drink herself into a sloppy mess. And wow, I felt bad for her. I'm like, what? Why is this going on? God, why? Why can't she see, to get out of this? And it's easier said than done, for people that just aren't looking even to a little slight bit of faith. They just see these horrible demonic things, and they're like, this is so real. I'm just captivated by what's going on here. Look to your faith, people. I don't get it. I mean, I do, but then I don't, because it's like something is showing there's other forces that be. Well, know that there's another force out there. And it's the only thing that can and will have your back. And that's God and light and all that other good, positive stuff. So, Dennis, I think you need to probably look a little bit harder into your faith, just a bit. Have no doubts. Okay? That's a big one. Have no doubts about it. And, bless your home. Don't call upon the local priest to do it. Do it yourself. Look it up. See how you could do it. And I'm not talking about getting some incense. I'm talking about a little holy water and about, 15, 20 minutes of your time, and get to praying and get the blessing. Alrighty. Dennis, thank you so much for your email. And we're going to go to our next break. You're listening.
You're listening to IRN, the Inception Radio Network, Chicago, Illinois.
You didn't forget what's coming up tonight, did you? Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Never miss that interview you were looking forward to or the show on your favorite topic. Follow IRN on Twitter, I_R_N, and get reminders about the evening's live shows as well as fun and important updates throughout the week. That's I_R_N, and never miss a great show again.
Hi, this is Heidi Hollis, and I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about myself and my writings because I am a published author. I write on everything from angels to aliens, ghosts, demons, shadow people, I don't know, you name it, I do it. And I would like to invite you to go check out my main website, which is HeidiHollis.com, which shows, oh my goodness, all my books, and I think you guys will dig it. Jesus is No Joke, which is about holy encounters with Jesus, which is actually quite different than what you might expect. And then my book, The Secret War, which is based on shadow people. And I am also a cartoonist, diary blog of the Fickle Fighters. These are kids' cartoons that I do, and they are exploring absolutely everything that I write about in my regular books. So I invite you, please go check out my website, HeidiHollis.com. Check out my books. I think you'll dig it. It's something different. It's something new. And I write just as I speak. So don't say I didn't warn you.
Hi, Bob Tarmac for MJ'sHealthyWay.com. Are you into vitamins, nutrition, meal replacements, health shakes, keeping your body in good shape, your internal engine going? Boy, do I have a perfect place for you. MJ'sHealthyWay.com. They offer the best service and products, and they'll tell you anything you need to know about any product they have to offer. I get all my vitamins, meal replacements, shakes from MJ'sHealthyWay.com. That's spelled MJSHealthyway.com. There's so much more at the website. Go check it out. MJ'sHealthyway.com.
Hello, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Remember, you can take your Inception Radio shows on the go. Just download the Inception Radio Network app for your iPhone, iPad, or Android smartphones and access live shows, past shows, guest lineups, and much more. Just visit the iTunes Store or the Google Play Marketplace and download it today for free.
Are you a fan of Inception Radio Network? Do you reckon it's the best alternative talk radio station on the planet? Well, if you do, head to facebook.com/Inception Radio Network and like the page. Tell your friends, spread the word, and keep listening to the best.
Hello, folks. Heidi Hollis is rocking the airwaves every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on IRN. But if you want to learn more about Heidi, check out her amazing website at www.HeidiHollis.com. For IRN, this is MJ.
From aliens to ghosts, demons to angels, and from shadow people to the outlandish, Heidi Hollis is the Outlander.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to me, Heidi Hollis, the Outlander. Remembering, always if it's weird, we're here, and there you go. So we're giving you advice and insight on outlandish topics. Phone lines are open, 919-2355. Oh, tonight is fun. I like talking to you guys, and I like reading your emails. I think it makes for the more interesting stories because they're so authentic, so heartfelt, and, it's just real. It's just me and you talking. It's all good, right? All right, so I am going to get to the next email. It says, Dear Heidi, that's me. I just wanted to drop you a quick line to let you know that I really enjoyed your interviews. Well, okay, you were really delightful. Well, cool, thank you. More than a few times I broke into a good chuckle when you recounted your stories. I absolutely love your sense of humor. Well, yay. Keep doing what you're doing. I felt a deep sense of knowing that you understand what is going on around us, and I'm sure that your work is helping many. Sincerely, Francine, Victoria, British Columbia. Francine! No, it's so sweet. Thank you. That was really nice. Thank goodness. I am so abused here at Inception Radio. No, I'm just kidding. I have a good time here. We got a really, really, really good listening audience. About, 250,000 listeners or so. So it's really cool to know that something is helping, and I hope people aren't, checking out of the show just because I said that. We're trying to make a difference here, people. We really are. So I'm going to go to the next email because time goes so fast when we're having fun, doesn't it? Dear Heidi, I've recently been seeing and having a lot of encounters with these shadow people and the Hatman. It started September 10th of this year. Wow. That's crazy. There was a hunched, shadowy figure in my kitchen when I went to get a drink, and he was definitely larger than my ceiling. Yeah, isn't that great? That's hitting his head on your... After this sighting, I felt something tug at my headphones when I was in bed. I wanted to first ask if they can physically harm you, because after I woke up, I had a bad leg for the day. Can animals sense them? My dog started growling and my cat's meowing whenever he's let out of the bathroom at night. They never showed up when the cat was out of the bathroom. I also tried talking to one who was staring at the TV at night, and I said hello, And he looked at me. Oh, heck no. No, I'd be gone right there. He seemed to acknowledge me before disappearing. As for the Hatman, I saw him during one of my classes at high school. He acknowledged me with a slight look and a nod before sort of walking downstairs into the ground. I'm not sure what to do if they continue showing up, and no one else in my family has seen him as far as I know of any. Thank you for reading this, Sarah. Well, Sarah. Holy smokes. All I can say to you is that sucks. It's scary. I'm sorry. Can these guys hurt you? Yeah. They sure can. They like to punch, scratch, choke, push people. Yeah. They be careful around stairs with some of them. And what else do they like to do? Oh, you know what's interesting? You said how he walked down these like invisible stairs. You know, that is something that I've heard for the Hatman. Like he's there, and then he just kind of goes down like he's walking down some stairs, like do 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 do. What is that? I mean, was there a staircase there before, or did he just build one? I don't know. Maybe it's real quick. I don't know. It's really kind of strange, but a very common thing that you said, how he acknowledges people with a nod and a tip of the hat. It is so like, you know, when you try to motion to people like, hey, over here. It's like his thing. Like, that's right, buddy. I see ya. Uh-huh. Hi, how are you? I'm the Hatman. Uh-huh. Seen ya. That's horrible. It's like the Johnny Carson nod that you don't want to get. You know, Johnny Carson would say you're going to be a star. You don't want him to do that. That's all I'm going to say. So he's acknowledging that you're acknowledging, and that's horrible. And I'm sorry that it's only happening to you. Well, no. It's best that it's not something that's just running in the family, because that's horrible, and it's kind of hard to shake. But you're asking the physical harm, hurting your leg? Yeah. I've heard of people say, you know, where he touched a person or something, it hurts. It's really, really, really bizarre. And I don't know how or why. And yes, animals can sense them. Animals are the first to leave you hanging. Peace out, master. I just saw something. I'm going to growl real quick, and I'm going under the bed. That's kind of how some of them do. And they're forever changed. Some of them, it's so traumatic to see these things. It's really horrible. So, yeah. So I want to thank you, Sarah, so much for writing. That was a nice quick little email. And I've got another caller. I've got Dick from Oregon. Hey there, Dick. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. How you doing, Heidi?
Life is fantastic. That's all I could say.
That's great. I hope you're enjoying it. It's good here in Oregon, too. It's green.
Oh, yeah. Over here, things are looking horrible and cold.
Oh, no. Well,
already.
Here. I'll have a place for you.
Oh,
anyway,
cool.
This was several years ago. Heidi, are you listening to me?
I can hear
several years ago, I can hear you, too. Several years ago, I was going through a divorce with my wife, but we were living in the same house, so it was a little uncomfortable. So I was delegated to another bedroom, of course. And one night I woke up about 2 a.m., and I was laying in this, I thought was the bedroom that I was in, but apparently it really wasn't. It was somewhere else. And I was surrounded by like 3 or 4 of those little gray ETs with the big eyes, and then a larger ET. I think the one that looks like a insect type of a creature.
Praying mantis.
Anyway, yeah. As I woke up, the reason why I woke up is because I had excruciating pain in my forehead, and the best way to describe it is it was like an alien, like a download, like you download a computer program.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow there was an alien presence was trying to download into my brain, and I had to really fight hard to prevent it from happening. And I'm sure it was just a program of some type to make a person believe that they're being controlled by another alien source. So I yelled out a big no, and all of a sudden everything went black, and I still notice to this day, though, that alien presence that might have been incomplete in its download, it still remains in there, but I'm able to fight it off at all times, but I'm sure it's just a program, and it's probably a way that the aliens, the ETs, are trying to probably control humanity by utilizing a program that makes a person feel like they're an alien in a human body. But the truth of the matter is, it's just a program. Anyway, the following morning, about actually 4 o'clock the next morning, I just woke up with a start, and my face all of a sudden was sprayed with some sort of liquid mist. And for the next 20 hours, I was on the most wild hallucinogenic trip ever. I'm like 63 years old, and I've tried LSD and a few other of those mind-altering drugs, but of course not any longer. And it's just incredible. For 20 hours, the visions that were going through my mind. But I just want people to realize that it's just a program.
Okay.
And that if you try hard enough, you can overcome that program. They may have enhanced a bunch of human traits and stuff, but I just want people to realize that if they try hard enough, they'll find their inner soul.
So did you feel like they were trying to pull your strings and you had to resist when this download took place?
Exactly. Just like that. Heidi, you're just amazingly psychic or knowledgeable, perhaps, but yeah, I don't know if there's any other questions. It happens many, many years ago, back in the 90s, but there's been other events that have taken place since then, but it seems like it's a constant battle to this download that was attempted. I think it's being utilized to, in some way, fool people, to convince people that they're, perhaps that they're something other than what they really are.
Right. You know what?
These advanced computer.
What I've realized when it came to like some of these alien entities and whatnot coming my way, even though they did not get to abduct me, which I'm happy. It's as if they're whispering in your ear, you can't move, you can't move, you can't move. But the second you realize, hey, this guy's just whispering, I can't move, you realize then that you can move. They are not the ones in control. So that's awesome that you realized that early on.
I know. Exactly. You have the control, Heidi.
Yeah.
You are in control. But, also, I kept hearing, which is really bizarre, like several nights afterwards, if I listened closely, I could hear these 3 words, I love you.
Oh, what was that about?
Repeat. I'm not sure. It was just repeating back and forth, throughout the night.
You think they're trying to convince you that, look, we're here for your own good. Yeah,
well, it could be, but, it doesn't seem like there's much good going on in the world now. I mean, the world has, in many, many ways, has not progressed. It's gone backwards. I mean, you can see all the violence, like Sandy Hook and all these school killings and stuff. I mean, what the hell is that going on out there? How come they can't get it straight? If they're going to do a download and go through all this, for what purpose? Other than, I mean, what's the use?
Yeah, I hear you.
It just doesn't make that much sense to me.
It's like something's got to give. And, I'm a big advocate that these things are trying to pull our strings and not for our own good. And this isn't their experience. This isn't their planet. So I want to thank you so much for giving us a call in. That was awesome.
Okay, you come out to Oregon, and anytime you need that cannoli, come on over.
It would be fun to go to Oregon. I think it's a beautiful state, and I'm meeting so many cool people all over the place. So it's nice to meet another person that really gets into these topics. So you have an awesome evening over there. Okay. Wow. Okay, everybody. So we are moving on. We've got that's interesting. That's very interesting. So I've got another email. Oh my goodness. Let's see how big this one is. Okay, this isn't that big. It says, Dear Heidi, a friend showed me shadow people or Hatman just today after a story I told her. For a long time, I didn't admit it happened, but then a year ago I spoke to my brother and we recollected an occurrence. Okay. It says, I am 33 years old now. I was 9 and my brother was 4 and a half at the time. We were alone at home in our apartment in Serbia in Belgrade. Oh, well, okay. We were in our parents' bed watching TV. Behind the TV was the balcony. We lived on the second floor, and there was no possible access to the balcony unless someone was flying. All of a sudden, there was a really bright, blinding white light coming from outside, and there was a tall, dark shadow appearing from the light. Yeah, that's scary. We could clearly see the hat. He just stood there, and we both got really scared. I don't know what happened after or for how long. I just know that the fear was unbearable. Before that, as a child, I used to see different shadows in different places, usually when I would go to bed, and they used to frighten me. That was the reason I was so afraid of the dark. I always slept with the lights on. I believe after the last incident, I got so scared that I blocked it out and it never happened again, at least not that I can remember. We both just became very afraid of lightning as it reminded us of that occurrence, which I didn't realize until I started connecting the dots. I am not sure whether there was a spell that was put upon us in order to collect energy of fear from us, or there was something that was taken from us, as I am very intuitive and can work with energies. I just thought to share a story, and I will research this matter extensively in the future. Regards, Milena. Well, Milena, all the way from Serbia and Belgrade, old Yugoslavia. Holy smokes. That is wild. So, a lot of people, they're like, I hear this. It's like, is it only here in the United States? No, this guy and this darkness is covering the planet. That is absolutely scary. And, I know that a lot of people that experience these things, they get so absolutely terrified and petrified of such a thing happening to them, even though it might have happened just once. It haunts them for the rest of their life. They are so scared that it's going to happen again. And it's like, I feel so bad. It's like, shall I sing the Frozen song again? No. It's just, but really you do have to let it go. It's like, it happened. It was horrible. I can't imagine what it would be like if I had to recount and feel the threat of this thing potentially coming to me forever. You're 33. You are 33, and this happened when you were 9. You've been thinking about this all these years? I mean, wow. That's a long time to be petrified and worried that this may happen again, though you blocked it out. I just, I hope that people who are listening to this story realize it's like, oh, that's a stretch. Yeah, but did something happen to you when you were a kid and it terrified you and you just, were fearful of these things? But, you said that you're very intuitive and you can work with energies and stuff. It seems like people that are sensitive to things like that do experience these things and are aware that these things are lingering. And so, therefore, they are very much worried because they know these things could be out there. But, it's not uncommon for people to associate, if lightning was going on when they experience these things, that we hear lightning again. I get scared again. So it happens, it happens. I understand. So, Milena from Serbia, old Yugoslavia, in Belgrade, I want to thank you for writing. That's interesting. I don't get many people from over there, but I do get some. All right, I want to try to squeeze this last one in. It says, "Dear Heidi, I am so looking forward to digging into your books." Well, cool. That's awesome. I wonder which ones. From the age of 5, I've experienced paranormal events. Come to find out, it's a family trait. Ain't that something? Your family hid this, didn't they? Rotten, good for nothing. I'm just kidding. The one that stands out the most is one night when I was living with my aunt. I had gone to bed. It seems like I had hardly turned off the lights and crawled into bed, and the shadow of a dark man comes out of my closet walking towards me. Why is this dude hang out in closets? Man, we got to start taping these closets at night or something. I didn't even seem to think to make a noise. More like I was in a paralyzed awake stage. That's called sleep paralysis, like stage people like to say anyways. The hat seemed to stand out to me. I don't know why. He walked over. Oh, well, this sucks. He walked over and covered my nose and mouth. And the next thing I know, I was out. What? He smothered you to unconsciousness? Jeez. Didn't somebody ask if this guy could hurt you? Well, that's pretty horrible. I don't know what I would do. I'm paralyzed. Somebody pinches my nose closed and covers my mouth, and I pass out. Jeez. I woke the following morning like nothing had happened. Now going on 50 years old, it seems still so fresh in my mind as if I just lived it. 2 years later, I moved back into my mother's home only to start years of sexual abuse from men in one manner or another. I thought these were just a curse of being born a woman. Oh boy. But now I'm wondering if this so-called Hatman hasn't been behind the influence of those actions. I'm so thrilled to know you have a Christian base, because my faith has been hard to share my empathy traits and experiences in fear of backlash from my Christian brothers and sisters. That's a shame. But I truly know wearing my full godly armor and living a clean and sober life has kept the darkness to obey. Amen, sister. Thanks for giving a forum to share my story. Well, and this is anonymous. Well, holy smokes. That's, wow. You know, what a powerfully short email, but that says so much. That really says so much. You know, and it's interesting that you recognize potentially that, you know, the men that were abusing you in your life may have been influenced by darkness. But you know what? That's no excuse. They listened to it. Whose fault is that? Just the darkness? The devil made me do it. Well, guess what? The devil's trying to talk to all of us, but not all of us, you know, go and, you know, do such horrid things. And, you know, and just so you know, too, I think, I don't know what the percentage is, but I mean, so many of my female friends, it's less common that they have not been abused in a sexual manner. Isn't that something? And horrible, just, I don't know, it's like 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, in some form have been sexually abused by men. That's horrible. It's crazy. So are they all just listening to the devil or listening to something else? Okay, well, I don't know. Either way, it's perverted and it's wrong, and there's no excuse for it. You know, darkness or not, Hatman or not. You know, it's like, look at your soul and think, is my soul worth doing this horrible thing? I don't know, but people really, come on. But gosh, this experience that you had, it was such a horrific thing. He placed his hand over your nose and mouth, and then you were knocked out. It's so odd to say, but there are certain experiences that I've had that are of the paranormal nature that have been so shattering to me. They're so fresh on my mind that it is as if it just happened. And, you know, this is one thing that blows my mind, you know, with people who have experienced things in a sleep-like state, and they're told, oh, that's just a nightmare. A nightmare doesn't stay with you for a lifetime. That's how you tell the difference between what's real and what isn't. A nightmare? We have thousands of dreams potentially a year. Thousands. But that one from 30 years ago, you remember like it was yesterday, I would say it's not a nightmare. I would say there's a whole lot more to it. And anonymous person, I have to say that I'm thrilled to know that you have a Christian base. And I'm sorry that, you have a fear of getting some backlash from others who are Christian because you've experienced something. There's so much fear out there. There's just so much fear where people are like, "Oh, you met the likes of the devil. You must have the devil in you." That's not always the case. Sometimes you're just such a darn bright light that the devil wants to stomp it out. So don't let naysayers put thoughts in your head. Go with your own heart and your own gut. God gave you your own guts for a reason. Not to be judged by others because he's the only judge. Hello. Doesn't it say that somewhere? I'm sure it's written. So don't let people drag you down. Truly, you know your faith. You know where you stand. Stand with it. Stay strong in it. And if there's people in your life that are abusive, kick them out of your life. It's a privilege to be in your life. They got to earn that right. And you can't. This is a harsh lesson that I had to learn. When it comes to people, I used to give them all the credit in the world until they did me wrong, instead of letting them earn that credit. So let people earn it. Let them earn it. And then perhaps they won't be so negatively influenced because they'll have proved themselves to be a decent person. How about that? So, hey, like you said, you know that you are a decent person. And you're able to keep the darkness to obey. I like that. Obey. Good on you. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time to write me. And I want to thank everybody else who has written me this evening and who has called. My goodness, it's been a busy night. That's awesome. And remember, you guys could call me beginning of every show. 30 minutes at least. And you can always call and talk to the awesome guests that I get on this show, which I often have. But then I like to do these too because I like to reach out to you guys and just keep in touch and all that stuff. So, we've come to the bottom of another show. Can you believe that? That went really quick. My gosh, we got to do this more often. So you guys go to my main website, HeidiHollis.com, and, check out my books. I got a lot of them. I got 6 on there. And, remember, you can catch me here every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. You've been listening to me, Heidi Hollis, the